back in the building. We back in the building.
It's been a minute, it seems like.
We back in the building.
Yeah. Hey. It feels like it's been a minute, right?
It's been a very long time.
It's been a couple of weeks. I mean, we were off last Thursday. And then the week before, Dwayne and Dr. Stan.
Dr. O.
Dr. O.
Dr.
Stan.
O. Held it down. We had a conversation about the state of humanity. That's what we discussed 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so thank you, Stan, for coming in and sitting in the places of, or, assisting Dwayne and not allowing him to be by himself, but he can always hold the show down if he needs to.
Yes, he can.
Be clear.
So,
be clear.
Yes, he
be
can.
clear. Be clear.
So I
God,
want to shout out for thank you for coming through.
Shout out to my bro holding me down. Thank you so much, Dr. O, also known as my bro Stan. Definitely came in the building 2 weeks ago on a Thursday night while it was pouring down, raining.
Oh, yeah, it was
When you start talking
week.
about support, when you start talking about intentionality, you start talking about people who show up and press through. Shout out to my bro Dr. O, also known as my bro Stan. He actually came in spite of the rain and held the show down with me, and we discussed once again the state of humanity. So shout out to my man Stan. Dr. O came in the building, and we had a great, phenomenal conversation. And who knows, man? We may have part 2 tonight about the state of humanity. Who knows where, God gonna lead us? Who knows where we going tonight? Normally we come in with a topic, but tonight, man, who knows where we gonna go?
Yeah, and we got a couple of things that is on our heart that we were going to speak about. So we'll see which direction that God leads us. We want to thank you for joining us this evening. We're in our 60s, right? Episode 63.
We don't even know what episode it is.
I know.
I
just
think
said,
it's like 65 or 66, y'all.
But you'll know. You check us out on SoundCloud. Check us out on YouTube. The episodes are loaded up. Also, iTunes. You can definitely check us out. Conversations with Whitney Dwayne and Treasure. Please support. We're supporting the chicken sandwiches made by Popeye. We're supporting the what's it called? I just had the other day, and I put
Chick-fil-A?
the Whopper situation, right?
The ultimate.
Yeah, it's a really dope vegetarian vegan burger. But at the same time, let's support our own businesses. Those who are authors, those who are entrepreneurs, those who are doing it for our community and trying to uplift our community through our talents and gifts. Let's also support us. Share the posts that we have. Share the videos. Share the books. Share whatever that we have as well. Let's help promote each other, and I just asked that. So right.
Well, did you guys know that yesterday was World Entrepreneur Day?
Oh yeah, Wednesday, right?
Yeah, it was
World Entrepreneur Day.
I saw that she posted that. That was good.
Yeah.
That was super cool.
Yeah, so support all your entrepreneurs, those who are definitely trying to push the needle, move everything forward, those who are fighting for social justice for our communities, those who are just giving life to our communities, and those who have dreams.
Yeah.
Like, just support it. Come on, stepping out on faith. We got to support each other. We got to be accountable for our own communities, man. We got to be accountable for supporting each other. Color, the skin. I don't want to say our
gender.
No, gender, but people of color, gender and all that great stuff. We have to support each other. Let's get together and support each other in this movement that we're trying to do.
Whit, I thank you for that, Whit, because you just gave me something, as you always
What's
do,
that?
right? Because we've been so conditioned, right, to categorize, right, and tonight I don't want to. Not that you did, because I'm not taking anything off of you just gave birth to something, right, through me, right. Any spirit that you see out here, right, speaking, working for the greater good of the energy of spirit, or the spirit that flows through energy from people, support it. Whatever that is, I don't even want to give it a race, ethnicity. I said that right?
Ethnicity.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You said it right.
Okay, right? Gender, whatever that is, right? Any spirit that you see doing something for the greater good of humanity. Support it, man.
Yeah, support. You know what? I say support. Make sure you support black-owned businesses.
Yeah. But again, there's some spirits that ain't quote unquote operating through black or Hispanic or Dominican, right?
That's true too.
Who are still on the front line. So any spirit that you see serving, man, and working for the greater good of those who are oppressed, enslaved, marginalized, man, dealing with the injustices across the world, not just here in this country, please support it, man. Please support it. And just because you may not be directly affected by it doesn't mean that at some point you won't be affected by it.
That's right.
So please support it.
You know what? And you are affected by it, whether you're directly affected by it or not. You are affected by it if you are a person of color. So let's get that straight. You might not feel it, but you are. You are subjected to it.
Okay. All
okay.
Right. Okay.
So
facet,
you might in some
absolutely.
capacity. Okay. So we want to definitely, and I love the whole thing, Dwayne. What you're saying,
Yeah, man.
Let's,
Any spirit.
any spirit.
Yeah, any
But
spirit.
not but any spirit, but also we as African American people of color, we need to support our own because everyone else is supporting their own.
Yeah, I definitely
Right.
agree.
You heard?
I definitely agree.
And
I just
also,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Trey.
also, if you have a spirit of something is being birthed in you, if you have a dream, it's never too late.
It's never too late.
It's never too late. You're never too old to step out on faith, and God will. If God put it in you, He will bring you through it.
Right. And some visions that God gives us, He might give it to us when we are in our 20s, in our 30s, and it's not supposed to manifest until you're 40 or in your 50s. Right. So if you still have it in your heart, it's still burning in your spirit, that's something that you still should take in consideration, pray about it, and step out on faith, because everyone here that is created, that God has created, you're here for a purpose. Everyone has a purpose. And pray, ask God to help you fulfill that purpose. The fact that we're still living, and I say it all the time, that is another chance for us to just step out on faith, to live in what God has for us. So Treasure, thank you for that, because a lot of people get discouraged because of their age. A lot of people get discouraged because of their reality. A lot of people get discouraged because of their circumstances.
Yeah.
And just know that do not let reality get the best of you. Let that catapult you to get to where God is calling you to.
That's so good.
Think about it. And we have to make our little announcements and everything like that. But think about this.
That might be a segue into the show.
Ask yourself, who do I want to become? Who am I striving to become? Who do I want to become? Right? Think about that, and think about the things that I have in my life, the environment that I surround myself with, my habits that I'm creating. Are those things helping me get to a place where I want to become?
That's good, Whit. That's a great question.
Can I just add one more thing?
No, you know what? Go ahead.
I put this
Go
in my
for it.
post yesterday, that if there's not a market for your idea, create it.
Create your table.
Create it. Go out and make it happen.
I love it. I love it.
We're already getting into some content.
I love it.
Right.
I love it.
And I love the
it.
conversation. That's the way, entrepreneurship is the
let
way.
me just say this too, because it's going to get to a point where jobs are going to be null and void. Jobs are falling off by the wayside more and more as we get into like, let's just say for Amazon, for instance. Amazon is taking over. So it's knocking out the contenders like, the stores. Everybody's ordering online.
I mean, look at the toll. Look at the things when you go through the tolls. You got to have an easy pass now. You don't
Right.
see people working and collecting your money as far as going through the toll.
And they're also creating robots to take over these jobs. So
Yeah, they're doing a whole lot to it.
entrepreneurship is the way to go. So if you have an idea, if you have something that you've been dying to start and do, open that business, do it. It's never too
Do it,
late.
because you know what can happen, right?
What's the worst that can happen?
What's the worst that can happen? Okay, I'll lose some money, right? I might lose some people around me. I might lose, some friends or whatever the case is. But but then also, I do not want to lose time. You know what I mean? I don't want to live with any regrets or saying I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Dad, why I could have started that business at this point, at that age. No. You know what? You can't lose anything by just going ahead and stepping out on faith. You know what I mean? You don't want to be that person and say, wow, I should have did that back then. You know what I mean? Go ahead, take that step, take that leap of faith, do it, do what God is calling you to do. And I know they're listening. You guys are listening, saying, you know what? It's so easier said than done because I got to pay my rent. I got to, make sure my kids are on point. I got so many responsibilities that I just can't just quit my job and do what God, whatever. If it's another venture that I just can't do it right now. You don't have to quit your job. Quitting your 9 to 5 ain't for everybody. Let that fund your vision. We're just saying do something. Do something. So I want you to think about that question. Who do I want to become? Who am I striving to become? Where do I see myself? What do I want for myself? Who is the person I want to become? What is your identity, right? And the identity that you envision, your higher self, the self that you see, that you dream about, if that person are my habits and the things that I'm doing in my current reality, is that taking me to a place where who I want to become? So if I want to become a teacher, okay, think about, what does a teacher do? What would a teacher do? What is a person that wants to be a teacher? What would they do? What would they do? They'll go to school. They'll go get, they get educated. They'll get their masters. They'll become certified, right? So they'll do those certain things to get to who they want to become. So I want you guys to think about that, as we go through our show tonight. But we want to welcome you to another episode of Conversations with Whitney Dwayne. The number is 718-705-4959.
And Trey.
And Trey. Did I say Trey? Oh, sorry, Trey, my BFF.
Okay.
And 914-969-6499. We're so excited that we just started talking about, things that are on our heart.
Right. Let's get into it, Whit. Come on.
But I definitely want to say that Go Get It 2019 is almost here. November 16th is fastly approaching. I can't believe we're almost going into September. But Go Get It 2019 is here, November 16th at the Watson Hotel. Please, I need you to be there. I want you to be there. We have transformational speakers. This is our 4th annual conference. God put it on my spirit to step out on faith. I want to shout out to my partners, my co-founder, LaShawn, my partner, Jamie. Thank you so much for being a part of this vision. We're going to do big things, but last year was phenomenal. The first year was phenomenal. We just keep growing, and growing.
Yeah.
If you're interested in being a vendor, please contact me. We are booked for speakers. But if you're interested in being a vendor, if you can offer any you want to be a volunteer assisting us during the conference, let me know. Hit me up on my Instagram, which is I am Whitney D. Smith on Instagram, and on Facebook, Whitney Smith. Contact me if you're interested in being a part of our event as a volunteer, as a vendor, and you want to be in the building. Get your tickets. November 16. You can get your tickets on Eventbrite. The theme is breakthrough. Not saying we're waiting for a breakthrough. What we're saying is that we're breaking through. We're not going to just wait for God to do it. We're going to participate in the breakthrough.
Yeah.
So that's the theme. I'm going to break through as God is breaking me as I break through. So we need you to be there.
Yeah.
You don't want to miss it. What's next? What's going on with you, Dwayne? With the whole Vibe With Me movement?
Shout out to the Vibe With Me movement. Shout out to the Army. Rocking with me every morning. Especially as of late with me giving the classic videos that I've been doing over the last 2 years, as I can continue to communicate that God is preserving me right now and getting me ready for what's next. But I've been sharing a lot of the classic videos that I've done over the last 2 years, which is still helping those who are actually a part of the Army, who rock with the Army, who've been blessed as a result of the top of the morning videos. So shout out to everybody who has shared the video, reposted the video, DM'd the video. Shout out to everybody who has purchased apparel, whether that was a shirt or hat. Shout out to everybody who has prayed for me, sent me messages, encouraging me to continue to do what they see being done on a day-to-day basis in whatever capacity that it is. So shout out to the Vibe With Me Army. I appreciate you guys. I'm thankful for you guys. I've grown to definitely have a huge love for those who are consistently encouraging me to continue to keep this movement and this work going forth, because we need this energy for these particular times that we're in. So shout out to everybody who rocks with me and who vibes with me every morning. And shout out to my social media fam right now who's tuned in right now on Instagram and on Facebook. Shout out to you guys for rocking with us, me and Whit, for the last 5-6 years with what we've been doing. And now Trey has joined us with our podcast. We are extremely grateful for you guys. So we see y'all. We acknowledge y'all. Shout out to my sis Diamond, who's definitely tuned in right now. Shout out to your social media follows who did check in with. If you can see them right now, Trey, if you can see anybody who's checked in with you, shout them out, because I'm realizing that people love to know that they being acknowledged and they feel a part of actually what's going on. So shout out to everybody who's checked in, who tuned in, even if they don't stay in, but they checked in for a second. So shout out to everybody who checked in, tuned in, who still may be tuned in to InTheMixRadio.com. And that's what's going on with the Vibe we'll be moving right now with.
Shout out to y'all. Thank you, my Instagram family. Thank you,
Right.
Facebook, for joining us this evening. Yeah, so we want to make sure everyone knows about our Monday morning prayer call. Call in every single Monday morning at 7 a.m. You can find the conference call number on our Facebook and our Instagram handles. This call has been in session for about it'll be 6 years in October. 5 years where God put on my heart for us to go into prayer every single Monday morning, because sometimes Mondays can be very difficult for those who coming out of the weekend and starting this full week of work. And usually Mondays, it seems as if it's the hardest, because that's what we've been drilled in, but it's all about perspective, right? So on this call, it's very interactive. We're not just praying, but we're talking, we're giving tools. It actually, all of us, even those on the call, are participating in the call. So it's not just Dwayne and I leading the call. Everyone is giving testimonies or some type of expertise to make us be the best version of ourselves. And I want to shout out to those who call in on the Monday morning phone conference calls with Dwayne and I. Thank you so much for rocking with us for almost 6 years. If you've been with us for a year or 2 years, or even just this year, whatever the case is, if you logged on or called on once, that's great. Thank you for the energy. Thank you for just being a part of this movement. So 7 a.m. on Monday, join us. The conference call numbers are on our social media handles, and we definitely let you know the Sunday to get you prepared for Monday. So come join us Monday mornings. So now let's get into it. Treasure, what you got going on? What you got going on with this Trey Panache business?
Well, Trey Panache is doing some new things. I brought some new services to Trey Panache. I have some new. I'm working now with raw Indian hair, which is it's more comparable to our texture. It complements our texture more. Okay. So, and I'm also doing the microlinks now. So, Trey Panache is doing some great things.
Microlinks in the building.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that.
And if they need to contact you, if they're interested in the microlinks, if they're interested in because you do make custom wigs.
I also make custom wigs.
You specialize also in natural hair.
Specialize in natural hair. I also am a colorist. I've been in the industry for about 31 years, and it's thank God still my passion. So I'm still investing in my craft and trying to learn, because this industry is constantly changing. So and being it's an innovative industry. So
it definitely is. You gotta definitely make sure you're.
I'm excited about what's going on right now. But my social media handle is Trey_Panache, PANACHE_collection, and you can email me at info@TreyPanache, or you can reach me on Facebook at Treasure Griffin.
All right, got you. So make your appointments. Book your appointments. Yes. especially for the
Come see
holiday.
me.
I'm about to say the holiday season coming up, which is actually really true.
It is. It's right.
Right,
around
we're
the corner,
towards the end of the
actually.
year. So make sure if you need the specialized hair care, book Trey Panache. She also sells hair.
Right.
Really good hair that you can use for like a year or two. Trust me, I'm a witness. So she's not telling you everything that she does, but she does a lot. So book your appointments with Trey Panache
Yes.
Collection.
And I will be in the building. I will be a vendor at.
She
the,
will be a vendor at the Go Get
at
It
the
Women's
Go Get It
Empowerment
Women's
Conference.
Empowerment Conference.
Yes,
So
I can't wait.
I will actually be doing microlink technique at the conference.
At the conference. She's doing what?
The microlink installation at the conference.
Thank you. And we're going to do a video on that, and we're going to promote that also. So we got to
Yes.
get together and do that so that our
Yes.
attendees will know. Anyway, so let's get into our spirit check segment real quick. And we're going to get into our what's going on segment, and we're going to get right in the top of the conversation. So we're not going to be long with the spirit check. Our spirit check segment is where we check our spiritual climate. What are we feeling? What's going on with us? What's in our head? What's in our spirit? What's in our heart? This is where we check our spirit. So, Treasure, since we left off with you, how's your spirit this evening?
My spirit is in a sense of motivation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a sense of motivation. I'm in a sense of just striving to keep getting more, keep getting closer to that mark that God has for me.
Okay. I'll go next. We'll let Dwayne go last. Ladies first.
Go ahead,
Ooh, ladies first.
Go ahead,
Ladies first.
Queen Wit.
Queen Larry.
Queen Larry.
Yeah, I got my earrings on too. Look. See? Okay. My spirit is in a state of learning, growing. I'm in a state of wanting to make myself better.
Mm-hmm.
As far as not just with God, He's the first and foremost, but with myself. So I'm looking at different areas, and this is where I am, where I can make myself better. Whether it's in education, whether it's in my vocation. As far as preaching and things of that nature, I'm trying to see like the different things that I can do to make myself better, what systems I can create for myself to really strive for the person who I see myself becoming. So I'm in this place of self-improvement. I'm in this place of self-awareness. I'm in a place of really trying to put in, like I said, different systems to break bad habits, or break the habits that are not bad habits, but break habits that are taking me away from who I know I want to become. So I'm really in this self-improvement game. Like, no joke. Like, I'm here, and I'm loving it, because as I am zoning in on those things, I'm feeling happiness is a choice, right? But I'm feeling excited that I'm taking stock really in my own spirit and my own soul and my own internally and physically. So I'm in a spirit of growing self-improvement, and I'm happy.
That's beautiful.
So that's my spirit
You
check.
said that eloquently.
Well, thank you.
Wow, that's amazing, Wit. I love everything that you said, man, because I think that that introspection is important now. You know what I mean? It's important now because it's just important. I think it's important to know where you are at this stage of your life, and really being able to take an honest assessment of where you are, who you are, and what direction you're going in for the rest of your life. I know for myself, my spirit check tonight is I'm in a space of fighting for my happy. I'm fighting for my happy, right? For a significant period of my life, I've been the person who has always been so supportive of everybody else and what everybody else was doing, that at this particular point of my life now, I have to fight for my happy. And in fighting for my happy, I know that that's creating feelings in those who have been so conditioned by me to allow people to feel so comfortable with having me how they want me, that now as I fight for my happy, that becomes problematic for those who probably never cared about my happy. They were just so used to having me how they wanted me and me being supportive of what they were doing, that now going into 41, I'm fighting for my happy. And I'm willing now to fight. I'm willing to sacrifice. I'm willing to even lose some people for my happy at this particular time of my life. So my spirit check right now is I'm fighting for my happy, and I'm willing to go through whatever I gotta go through in order for me to have my happy finally consume me.
That's dope, because you're going into you have your birthday weekend this
Yeah.
weekend. Your birthday is Saturday, so
Sunday.
Sunday. Sorry,
Yeah.
your birthday is Sunday, but you have your birthday bash on Saturday.
Yeah,
You're
absolutely.
breaking bread.
Breaking
and you're
bread.
going into that realm. You're in a place where you're fighting for your happy, and you're in this space. And at the same time, you're going to a different realm because you're going to a different year this weekend. So that's a good place to be in.
Yes, it is.
Breaking bread.
And it's a needed space right now for me at this particular time, because it's so easy to be so supportive of people. It's a noble thing to do. It's an honorable thing to do. But if we be transparent and honest, it's a very traumatic experience when you realize that the people who you showed up and supported and were happy for aren't happy for you. That's a lot. You know what I mean? That's a lot to have to deal with. So you have to fight when you recognize that is what you're in. That the people who you have been so supportive and you sacrificed and you showed up and you gave whatever it is that you had, and you can't let them minimize what you gave, right? Because you didn't have to give anything, right? So you have to understand that once you commit yourself to making a decision to be happy with whatever it is that you're in pursuit of, whether that's happy about your healing, happy about your goals, happy about whatever it is that you aspire to have, happy about being a better version of yourself, whatever it is that's making you happy to live this life, you don't have to allow how others are feeling about that process to make you discouraged about staying on course to fight for your happy. So that's my spirit check with.
Yeah, it's
And
okay to it's okay to be selfish when
Well-
you're fighting. I'm not saying selfish in the sense of
Yeah.
you're
That-
not thinking
I
about
agree.
other people.
I
but
agree.
sometimes we just gotta say, you know what, where I need to be and who I'm trying to become is the priority.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us who have those type of hearts, we put everything else before sometimes ourselves, and sometimes we can't do that because we need to be in a position where we need to fight for our happy, because we have family and people who are counting on us to be in a place of happiness and for us to be sane.
And I'm glad you just said that, Whit.
So
I'm glad you just
don't
said
get
that.
it twisted. We love, you gotta sacrifice for others, but you gotta also sacrifice for yourself.
you.
Because if you're not good for you, you can't be good for anybody else.
That's right.
Right? So before we get in our topic of conversation, and that was good, Dwayne, so thank you for sharing your spirit check this evening. We're going to get into our What's Going On segment. Treasure has, she's our What's Going On correspondent. She brings us some great things. What's happening? What's popping over there?
The good news.
The
of
good
the show.
news.
Yeah, the
right?
good news this week is, I don't know what week we are in, but
Does it matter? Because we in a week.
but that's
what
always
matters.
like
That's
a part
so-
of my
that-
little
that's-
segment.
that's-
But whatever.
It's so bad that
fine,
we
it's
don't know
fine.
what
And
we
that's
do.
We did so many shows,
We gotta
but
find
trust
out.
me, once
Yeah,
you
we
go
gotta
on
get on top of it.
YouTube, once you go on iTunes, you'll see it.
Or next
Trust
week,
me.
you will know. We will know what week we're in.
You'll
But
know.
let's get into it,
Look
Trey.
at
All right, so this week, what's going on is the Elite 9 of the United Youth Aviators is I'm sorry, guys. I've been off. I'm still,
you
I'm
on.
sorry.
You're not off. Go ahead. The Elite
All right, let
Nine.
me
What's
get-
up with them?
Let me get it together. But the Elite 9 of the United Youth Aviators and United Youth Aviators is New York City's first ever aviation summer camp.
That's dope.
Yeah, so they're taking these young people and they're teaching them how to not only make planes, they start out making paper planes to flying planes.
That is dope. That is
And
what's
they
the
graduated.
age?
They got their certificates.
Does it say like what happens like after this program?
Well, they need about 20 hours of actually flying in order to get their license. But this is this program is free. So if you know some youth that are interested in becoming pilots, then go on to UnitedYouthAviators.com and apply for a scholarship.
I think that's dope because it deposits in their mind that I can be something other than a football player, a basketball player. I can be something other than, a rapper, whatever the case is. I can do something else. So this is depositing some newness in them as far as occupation, as far as career. To think of an opportunity to have those, to be in this aviation group where it's preparing them, it's engineering too, in a sense, because they're learning how to make planes. That's engineering. You could take that career, you could take that skill in different aspects and different capacities, different directions. So the fact that these young people have this opportunity and this organization is helping them, getting to something new, something different. It's not a basketball camp. Not to say those things are bad. We're just saying something else added to the community is a great thing. And I think that's phenomenal. Aviation. Exposing our community to something that they haven't been exposed to.
Yes.
Dope. Thank you, Treasure. You always bring the good news because that's some good news. That's some good news. Thank you, Cruz, for the hand claps. That's some good news. So, we want to thank you guys for tuning in again with us. Conversations with Whitney and Dwayne and Treasure. 914-969-6499, 718-705-4959. And we're going to get into our topic of conversation. We always have our topics for this evening. And it's going to be an interesting conversation. We definitely want you to join us. Call in. Give us your perspective. It's conversation. So we're not just having this. We don't want just to have the conversations with us here. We want to have it with you as well. So just call in. That's all you have to do. Don't say your name, whatever the case is. But Dwayne, start us off. Our topic of conversation tonight. The place that God is leading us tonight, because we have several things on our mind. But we're getting into this evening. Dwayne, go ahead.
We got a bunch of different things that we discussed. And we'll start with kind of like part 2 of 2 weeks ago conversation with Dr. O, the state of humanity, right? The state of humanity, and we'll just get into everything else that will flow from that particular conversation that we hosted and had last week. The state of humanity, what that conversation consisted of. It was just basically conversation about where we are right now as humans. Where are we right now? Of course in this country, but then of course the world at large. Where are we at this particular time? And we went back and forth about Dr. O. He raised a great perspective in terms of how the church is pretty silent on a lot of these social issues that we're dealing with at this particular time. And we kind of wrestled in the conversation about his perspective and my perspective in rebuttal to his, right? And we discussed really the state of humanity. And we unpacked in the conversation how many people are really just unfortunately insensitive, very judgmental, very critical, very hateful. A lot of people are not as loving. Very few are loving. And as a result of both of these different spaces that both groups, those loving and those jealous, envious, critical, hateful, vindictive, vengeful, right? These different spaces that people are in at this particular time is the reason why we are discussing the state of humanity. And as a result of it, Whitney and Trey and I, we decided to have conversation tonight over some dinner, and we was discussing pretty much how friendships, families, relationships, how sometimes you can outgrow certain people who are in your immediate circle. And that also suggests that the state of humanity, again, with some of your internal crew, right? Some of the people who you thought you would go to new levels with are also on the side of being critical, judgmental, fault-finding, right? Insensitive, right? Selfish, self-absorbed. They're making it about them and how they have a difficult time supporting and understanding your growth, your healing, your process, your turn. So we are discussing the state of humanity as a result of 2 weeks ago, my show with Dr. O, and then our conversation over dinner. The state of humanity and how so many people at this particular time are on different sides of the conversation. The conversation of those who are on the side of healing, those who are on the side of hope, those on the side of love, positivity, having a good energy, having a good vibe, those who are participating in purpose versus those who are on the side of being negative, those on the side of being hateful, those on the side of being grudgeful, those on the side who don't celebrate your growth. We are talking about those two sides tonight. What side are you on? Are you on the side that is growing, that is on the side of love, on the side of purpose, or are you on the side of being hurt and angry and you holding grudges and you don't believe that anything is going to change in your world? So you find yourself being not so positive, not so optimistic, very vindictive, very critical, not supportive, and you angry with some of the people in your immediate circle about what's going on in their lives, the changes that they're making that don't involve you, that don't include you, that make you feel left out. Where are you in this conversation of part 2 on the state of humanity? How did y'all like that? Was that good? Was that okay?
That was great. You touched on several things. I want to say, and we said this at the table when we were talking about it, the state of humanity, and I guess on the conversation last week that the church wasn't visible in it. It's not all churches. We have a lot of churches who are participating in making the state of humanity. They're trying to restore the state of humanity. So I don't want anyone to think that we're saying that the church is not available, or saying that the church is invisible, because I don't believe that's true. You got some churches that are invisible, but you got a lot of churches who are doing things to help the state of humanity, to help those people who feel oppressed, suppressed, feel like the systems are getting the best of them, are trying to help and provide ways to help our people get out of the feeling of oppression, right there. And so the state of humanity, as a people, as individuals, we have to have some type of self-awareness, right? Where do I stand in this issue, in this realm? Where am I? I have to do some self-assessments and self-reflecting to see if I'm falling, to see exactly what side I am on, because I don't know if I'm on the side of not wanting people to heal or not purpose. I might be on the side of feeling, feeling depressed, or feeling like, hopelessness, or whatever the case is, or feeling like, my circumstances are getting the best of me. So I need to decide, what side am I on, because it's not as easy as it might. I know we sometimes make it sound so easy to choose a side, or so easy to know where we are, and it's not easy, because we have to do a lot of we have to do a lot of the work, right? So in order for me to decide what side of state of humanity I'm on, first I have to know exactly where I am with me and where I stand. So there's a lot of self-assessment we have to do. The state of humanity is at stake right now, because a lot of people don't know who they are. A lot of people don't know where they belong. A lot of us been suppressed for so long because of these systems that are put in place that keeps oppressing us. We don't know how to get out of it. We feel like our reality is just what it is and what it's supposed to be, and some of us are still just in a state of there's no way out. You understand what I'm saying? So we have to be aware of our humanity being at stake at this time. Once you're aware of that humanity's at stake, then I need to self-assess myself to see what part do I fall on when it comes to this
This discussion.
This
I got it.
discussion.
Yeah,
You understand what I'm
this
saying?
reality that we're
This
living
reality.
in right now. No, that's good, Whit. That's good.
How can I operate, or how can I be my best self? How can I heal? How can I live in a state of purpose if I have so much chaos around me? In my life, in my circle, if it might be my friends, but in the world at large. How do I save my humanity? How do I encourage my humanity? How do I get out of the place where I can be, free in my humanity?
That's good.
How do I do that when I got so much chaos around me?
Do I want to do that?
And do I want to do that?
Do I want to put that work in so that I can combat some of the toxic energies, whether that's around me or within me, from experiences that I've been through? Do I want to put some of that work in? Because some of the systems that are in place, right? And I've been saying this for a while, and I will continue to say it because I feel like it's not a conversation, or it's not enough conversation, rather, that is happening. The dominant conversation that many people, humanity at large, is having is secure the bag, get the money, where everybody's more consumed and so concerned with getting to the money. And as a result of that dominant conversation and energy that is going out every single day, people's humanity is being reduced.
You know what, too? Also, why sometimes we get in these places of, or looking at our state of humanity as a community, right? So let's take the African American community, because I can relate. So that's, or people of color in general, people who have been marginalized, people who have been suppressed, right? How do we make our state of humanity better, right? Or how do we get in a place where we can be somewhat, in a sense, free, right? We have to invest in our own beings and our own selves, but we also have to invest in our community as a large, because our state of humanity is at stake. It's because a lot of us are in competition with one another. A lot of us are jealous of one another. A lot of us don't support each other. A lot of us a lot of us are not there for one another. And the thing is that we have to support each other because our humanity is at stake. We got to support the Black-owned businesses. We got to post those videos of those that their spirit is speaking something positive, something good. We have to love on one another because other communities do it all the time. Other communities support each other. So we have to, our state humanity, this conversation could go so many ways as far as a community. But at first, we got to deal with our own selves. In order we keep, deal with our own selves first, and then we can help the community at large. But there's so many things that we have to take account in order for us not to die.
And I'm going to say this again, Whit. I'm going to say this again. I think, first, I agree. I definitely agree with everything you just said. But I think, again, as we look at some of the systems that's in place, a lot of the systems that's in place are designed for us not to support one another. Right. Historically, when we look at, one of the systems that we all know about historically, right? The institution of slavery, right?
They put us against each other.
Exactly. It put us against one another. And that system is still working. It's still working. And modern times now, what we're dealing with now is, again, the focus of getting to the money. Where if you ain't got no money, Black people feel like they ain't got to listen to you. Puerto Ricans don't feel like they got to listen to you. Dominicans don't feel like you need to be respected and heard because you ain't got no money. If I don't see money to go along with what you talking about, I'm not trying to hear. That don't speak to my reality. So it's difficult for us to support one another when I don't feel like you got the money to match what you're talking about. So that becomes challenging.
Or I'm not entertaining you. Because a lot of us want to be entertained. I'm not going to support.
So if
I'm not entertaining, you're not making me feel a certain way or let me escape or what I'm going through.
Exactly.
The reality of what I'm going through. I'm going to pay attention to more people to celebrities and more people who entertain me than challenge me. So that's why our state of humanity is at stake, because we're so busy wanting to be entertained tamed instead of being changed.
And then we so quick to go through all of the emotions of losing our mother, our father, our aunt, our uncle, our friend, our brother, our sister, people who are checking out from whether it's cancer, heart attacks, right? Disease of addiction, whatever it is that people. So now what we're also considering, if we add this into the conversation, is people who are not equipped to deal with the unfortunate ills that we experience of living this life as a result of not supporting one another, as a result of not being equipped to live this life, as a result of not knowing how to handle life and death. So here's where the state of humanity continues to be at stake. So now I don't even value the humanity of myself or the humanity of the persons that I love, because I'm so consumed and so conditioned with focusing on getting to the money, which is a system that's designed to keep us divided, to keep us separated, to keep us in competition with one another. So I'm not trying to hear what you got to say. I only want to hear what you got to say as long as you got a few dollars, because the money that you got is what inspires me to listen to you, not the lifestyle, not the education, not the empowerment, not the enlightenment. That don't inspire me. I love seeing you with somebody else's last name on you that inspires me to do what you now doing. I'm not inspired to do some of that other stuff that you talking about doing right now.
Because if that happens, that means you made it. You know what I'm saying? You got some type of level of a success because you have the label, somebody else's name on your back, because you have the money, whatever the case is. So that inspires somebody else to listen, to be engaged with you, to, you know, and inspire them to whatever the case is. And that's why that's a distorted mentality. You know what I'm saying? That's distorted. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's a lot, man.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's heavy.
It's a lot. It's heavy. It's hurtful. As we come into the awareness of this, because I'm gonna be transparent. I didn't always possess this level of awareness, this level of enlightenment. I didn't always possess this. I, no different than majority of individuals that I'm also speaking to, not about, but speaking to, right? I also shared the same state, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. That now, as I evolve and I grow into this understanding of why the state of humanity is the way that it is, I now understand. So now I feel like it's my spiritual obligation and responsibility to have conversation, to shed light, to have discussion, and then raise awareness and hopefully help pull our people up. Of course, my own first. And judge me for that, and I'm willing to take that judgment. But then also now at large humanity, for those, if you don't share the same skin tone as me, right, and you don't share the same struggle as me, but you are in struggle just like me, and you now feel like what you hearing resonates with you, now you want to make sure that you're not on the side of the evils. You want to make sure you're not on the side of oppression and slavery or supporting systems that keep us divided. That's what you want to make sure you're not on the side of. But the systems are so powerful. They're so strategic. Yeah. They're so crafty. Because they'll have you listening to me and getting an attitude with me while they don't support you.
But at the same time, it'll divide you, like yourself. Like you'll be divided with yourself. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't be one in yourself. That's how powerful these systems are in place. You start feeling divided within you. You understand what I'm saying when I say divided?
I love what you just
said.
Like
you don't even know who you are or which way to go. You fighting with yourself.
And I love what you just said because you add in perspective to what I just said, that it'll make you so argumentative and defensive, egotistical, prideful, stubborn, defensive with the people who are trying to educate you that you are subscribing to a system that's not supporting you.
Yeah,
I think that's important. I'm sorry, but I gotta say this. But that has to be said. That system or those systems, because it's not just one.
No, it's
lot. Those systems that are in place that's not supporting you. It's not fixing the struggle that you're in. It's not fixing the reality that you're getting up to every day complaining about.
And that's why I asked in the beginning. I'm so glad we went here. Is that who is it that you want to become? Right? Who is it that I see myself being? Who am I? Whatever. Even if you don't, everybody has a picture of what they want, right?
Can we say it this way too, Whit?
What?
Who are you tired of being?
Okay, that too.
Who are you?
Who are you tired of being?
Because you may not know who you want to become.
Okay, and who are you tired of being and who you want to become is in alignment with each other, right? So what am I doing? What systems? Forget the systems that have already been in place, because I already know that is suppressing me and it's oppressing me, right? I already know about that, right? So we're so good with knowing that we already know that. So what are these? What systems can I put in place for myself that's going to help me become the person I want to become, or stop being the person that I once was?
That's good.
Right. So
or still am,
or whatever the case is. Because granted, these systems that we have in America, in this world, are going to be there, right? But there's a way that we can navigate, or try our best to navigate through them, inside them, up, around them, whatever the case is, right? What systems can I put in place for myself that is going to stop me from being who I once was, or who I am, and who I want to become? Like what? Systems, for example. They say, probably, what are systems? What's some systems I can put in place? All right, so for example, if you want to lose weight, right? And I'm always talking about weight and all that stuff, right? If you want to lose weight, and this is just for example, I will put, put your workout clothes somewhere where you can see them, somewhere where it's visible. So it makes you look at it and say, oh shoot, I gotta go work out, or whatever the case is. Whatever thing, a system, what you put in place that's going to help you get to that next point, right? If I want to lose weight, I'm not gonna put cookies right in front of me, right, on my table, in my kitchen. I'm not going to buy them, right? So a system I'm going to put in place is I'm going to buy some fruit and stuff. So, for example, so that's what the systems I'm talking about. Put systems in your life that's going to help you become who you want to become and stop being who you want to be. And that's also maybe changing your environment too, right?
Can I add another one?
But go ahead, add it, yeah.
You got
just
one,
those are examples. Those are little examples. I'm just giving you an example of a system.
So here's another one, right? And I love that one, right? Because obesity is at a alarming rate right now.
That's an example.
But it's real.
Bigger than that.
It's an alarming rate right now, right? Of people who feel and who are obese, and people who are struggling with self-worth, self-love, because they don't have that system in place to deal with the weight issues that they're dealing with right now, right? They don't have the discipline to be mindful of what they're eating, drinking, how they respond to challenges, and they become emotional eaters. That's great. I love that one, right? So now let's go to another one, right? When we start talking about, for me personally, right, the greatest system, the newest, the greatest system that I believe that we should implement is the system of worship, the worship of God, right? The God that you believe in, that will help you become who you are supposed to be, who you was created to be. Now, when we look at the systems inside of this particular country, or maybe the world at large, but specifically this country, who took away, right, God in schools. They're taking that away, where they don't even want to hear anything about God. Yeah. Anything about God, right? I don't want to hear nothing about that, right? Where now, as a result of that, look what we got coming into the schools. We got mass shootings going on as a result of what you taking out of the school. So for me, I feel like the most important system that we all have to implement is the relationship, is the understanding of worship, of that we have to worship God. And when we don't worship, look at what we invite in. But when we do worship, look at who we start to become. So personally, for myself, I love now this system that I've started to incorporate into my life in terms of the day-to-day discipline of the worship of God, because I love who I'm becoming, and I love how I'm able to navigate through this life and deal with the challenges of this life as a result of this discipline that I'm willing to institute into my life on a day-to-day basis and not allow the challenges of this life, bills, sickness, whatever America's doing, to impact or affect me to the degree that I'm not worshiping God.
Okay, here we go. So I like that, right? That's powerful. So worship. I'm gonna tell you, the system to put in place to help you worship is to make it intentional. That I'm gonna write down. If you don't just worship, you might not be so spiritually connected or don't know what to do. So the system you put in place in order to get to that place of worship, I need to be intentional about it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write down these things I need to do. So I'm gonna write down at 7 o'clock in the morning, or when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to worship, right? Because I'm putting that system into place so I can worship. I have to be intentional about what I'm trying to do. So yeah, I want the worship. I want to get to God. I want to worship changes the atmosphere. Worship changes me. Worship changes your situation. But I could say I just want to worship. I could just say I want to pray, but what system am I going to put in place to get me to that point? So I'm going to make it, because discipline sometimes just doesn't work, right? Discipline works to a certain extent, but I got to make sure I put the system in so I can get the discipline, so I can get the consistency. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be intentional. I'm going to write down at 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to worship. 7:15 or whatever it is, 7:15 in the morning, I'm going to pray. That's how I'm going to implement on being intentional about worshiping God. Not that you're scheduling it, God, and no, I want to not.
But that may be what you need.
No, I'm just saying that's.
No, you're right.
No,
you're right on target. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're right.
What I'm saying is that I have to. Those are the different systems I have to put in place. I have to be intentional. I have to write things down in order for me to become the person that I see, or not become the person I don't want to be anymore. So I got to make sure the systems and my habits help me be that person I want to be. Like I said, worship. I'm going to write down 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to worship. So we have to be intentional about how we put these things in place. We can't just say the things, this is how I want to be. How do I get there? It's the how.
No, that's
how
good.
do I do what I need to do? What systems I need to be in place? In order for me to get to that place where I'm trying to become.
Come on, Trey.
Or not trying to be.
How about putting in a system to get out of debt?
That too. That will help you.
Set a plan. What am I gonna do? I'm going to do direct deposit or whatever case is, $50, $100 a month. $10 a week.
I'm not gonna go out to eat often or whatever the case is. I'm gonna put a budget. I'm gonna
system. Make my coffee at home instead of buying.
That's a system that I'm gonna put in place in order for me to get to that place.
That's good.
Right?
That's good.
So the state of humanity, what we can do to make sure we still are sane, that we are helping our community, that we are economically stable, that we're getting to a place where who we want to become. We have to focus on ourselves and focus on what we're trying to do and make sure the right systems are in place to get to where God is calling us to be. It's a lot to this state of humanity thing. We went a lot of ways tonight. But I hope this conversation was good. Was with part 2 with just getting yourself in a place where getting those juices flowing, getting ready, and saying, you know what, I got to put a plan in place.
Yeah.
What is my plan?
With the conversation.
Yeah.
You got to plan worship. You know what I mean? If you got to, don't be embarrassed about it. I got to plan time with God, because I want to be intentional. Make sure I don't miss out on it.
And even if that's
whatever it is,
even if that's not your thought process or your vibe or your energy or your feeling. The one thing that I will hope that you are considering is that you are not contributing to the death of humanity, to the decline of humanity,
and to your death of humanity,
to the destruction of humanity. Hopefully you have that. You may not have everything that we discussed, but hopefully you have that. I'm not going to contribute to the destruction, the decline, the death of humanity or my own. So I'm willing to be open to instituting whatever systems that I have to so I can change it.
Let's go. We'll see y'all next week. Thank you for tuning in. Conversations with Whitney Dwayne and Treasure. We out.